Welcome, confidential listeners, to another entry from our private archives. This is a space for the unspoken. To a city where every corner holds a century of confessions and every balcony hides a broken heart. Tonight, we walk the cobblestone streets of Madrid, a place where the sun is bright enough to blind, but the shadows are long enough to hide a lifetime of lies. This is the story of Elena Castillo, a woman who believed she had built a home on solid rock, only to discover the ground beneath her feet was made of secrets and betrayal. One husband, one son, and a mortgaged house, the picture of perfection, until the phone rang. Title: The Man of Two Lives. He didn't just have a mistress, he had another family. So, draw the curtains, let the world outside fade away, and listen closely, because the audience for this truth is only you. It all began on a Saturday afternoon under the relentless blue sky of Madrid. My mother arrived at our house with that look I knew well, the look of someone carrying a weight she could no longer hold. My husband, Mateo, had gone out with our son, and the house was in a rare, heavy silence. She asked me, almost casually, if Mateo had told me about meeting her at the mall the previous week. I knew nothing. That Saturday, he told me he was going to the office to finish some pending work, but my mother saw him in the food court, sitting at a table with a woman I knew from a past that seemed buried, Valeria, our former neighbor from when we lived in a rented apartment. I felt the chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning. It had been 4 years since we left that block to buy our own home. Why was Mateo having coffee with Valeria? And more importantly, why would he hide it from me? My mother tried not to add fuel to the fire, but the fire had already started burning in my mind. The Mateo I knew wasn't one to omit casual encounters, unless they weren't casual at all. When Mateo returned home that evening with our son, the air between us felt thick. I waited until we were alone before I mentioned my mother's visit. I watched his face, the way his eyes flickered, the way his posture tightened as he immediately tried to explain himself. He gave me a quick, rehearsed explanation, claiming he ran into Valeria by chance while looking for a phone charger. He said he simply forgot to mention it. "You know how it is, Elena," he said, treating the encounter as a minor detail. He even claimed she sent her regards. I looked at him, searching for the man I had married, but all I saw was a stranger wearing his skin. He said it was just a forgotten afternoon, but his nervous reaction told me otherwise. I didn't feel satisfied with that conversation. I felt his worry, his preoccupation. For the sake of our home, I chose to stay quiet for now, but I was watching. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and 8 months later, it finally did. When Mateo returned home that evening with our son, the air between us felt thick. I waited until we were alone before I mentioned my mother's visit. I watched his face, the way his eyes flickered, the way his posture tightened as he immediately tried to explain himself. He gave me a quick, rehearsed explanation, claiming he ran into Valeria by chance while looking for a phone charger. He said he simply forgot to mention it. "You know how it is, Elena," he said, treating the encounter as a minor detail. He even claimed she sent her regards. I looked at him, searching for the man I had married, but all I saw was a stranger wearing his skin. He said it was just a forgotten afternoon, but his nervous reaction told me otherwise. I didn't feel satisfied with that conversation. I felt his worry, his preoccupation. For the sake of our home, I chose to stay quiet for now, but I was watching. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and 8 months later, it finally did. When Mateo stepped out of the bathroom, steam still clinging to his skin, I was waiting. I didn't lead with accusations. I led with a name. Who is Santi, Mateo? His face went white instantly. His eyes nearly jumped out of their sockets as he fumbled for words, looking for a hole in the floor to crawl into. He tried to tell me he didn't know any Santi, that the woman had dialed the wrong number, but the woman had spoken his name with an intimacy that a wrong number could never possess. Elena, you're overreacting. It's a mistake. I don't know what you're talking about. Give me the phone. He moved toward me, not with comfort, but with a desperate, almost violent need to take the phone back. He treated me like I was an idiot, giving me an explanation so absurd it made me want to strike him. He eventually wrestled the phone away from me, bruising my arm in the process, the worst fight of our marriage. But he didn't need to speak anymore. The guilt was written across his face in a language I could finally translate. He wasn't just hiding a secret, he was hiding an entire existence. I didn't stay to hear more of Mateo's stuttered lies. I grabbed our son, called a car, and fled to my mother's house through the rain-slicked streets of Madrid. When I told her about the woman on the phone and the name Santi, she didn't look surprised. She looked at me with that same heavy, silent gaze from months ago. She finally admitted that she hadn't told me everything about that day at the mall. She hadn't just seen them talking. She had seen Mateo kissing Valeria. I only told you 90% of the story, Elena. I didn't want to be the one to destroy your marriage. I hoped Mateo would have the dignity to confess, to ask for your forgiveness after I confronted him that day. I gave you the clues. I wanted you to see it for yourself. My mother thought she was protecting me, but her silence had only extended my sentence in a house of mirrors. She told me she had given Mateo a piece of her mind that day, but he had chosen to double down on the lie. I realized then that my husband hadn't just made a mistake. He had built a fortress of deception, and I was the only one living outside its walls. The full truth didn't come out in a single conversation. It poured out like a flood that drowned everything I loved. The affair with Valeria wasn't a recent lapse in judgment. It had started 5 years ago, back when we were still living in that small rented apartment near the market. Even after we moved and bought our home, the visits to Valeria never stopped. But the final blow, the one that made me want to die right there on my mother's sofa, was the discovery of who Santi really was. He wasn't just a child Mateo was helping. He was Mateo's son. Santi was 3.5 years old. While I was struggling to pay our mortgage and raising our son, Mateo was playing house in another part of the city. He had 2 families. He was buying tablets for a son I didn't know existed while neglecting the needs of his own home. 5 years of my life had been a choreographed performance. I wasn't his partner, I was his cover story. The man I loved was a phantom, and the life I thought we shared was nothing more than a well-maintained lie. I went back to the house, not as a wife, but as a judge. Mateo was waiting, his face a mask of exhaustion and faux innocence that made my skin crawl. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I simply sat across from him and whispered a single date. the day we moved out of our old apartment. The truth came out in jagged, ugly pieces. The affair hadn't ended when we left our rented home. It had thrived. For 5 years, every late night at the office, every weekend errands was a calculated move to maintain a second life with Valeria. Elena, please. I never meant for it to go this far. I didn't know how to stop. Santi is 3.5. He's just a boy. I couldn't just walk away from him. I looked at the man who had shared my bed for a decade and realized I was looking at a ghost. He talked about Santi with a tenderness he had stopped showing our own son months ago. He had built a parallel universe while I was busy building our future. He wasn't a man who made a mistake. He was an architect of betrayal who had used my trust as the foundation for his other home. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was financial. As I dug through the digital trail he had tried so hard to hide under the name Ricardo, I saw the receipts of my own displacement. While I was clipping coupons and worrying about our mortgage, Mateo was funneling our life's blood into Valeria's lap. The transfer for the tablet wasn't the first, and it wasn't the last. He was buying high-end electronics for his secret son while telling our son we couldn't afford a new phone. He had 2 families, but only one was paying the price for his greed, mine. I could have gone to Valeria's door. I could have screamed at her in the street or given Mateo the physical scars he deserved. But looking at the bank statements, at the years of stolen moments and stolen money, I realized they weren't worth my rage. They were a debt that I was done paying. Mateo had plunged a dagger into my heart, and the only way to survive was to pull it out and walk away, leaving him to the ruins of the 2 lives he had tried to juggle. The end didn't come with a scream, but with the scratching of a pen on legal documents. I didn't want his apologies, and I didn't want his explanations. I wanted my life back. As the lawyers deconstructed our 5 years of marriage, the depth of Mateo's deception became even clearer. He had been a ghost in our own home, physically present, but spiritually miles away in Valeria's apartment. I watched him as he signed the papers. The man who once promised me the world, now unable to even look me in the eye. He tried one last time to play the victim, claiming he was torn between 2 worlds. I told him he wasn't torn, he was just weak. He had spent 5 years choosing a lie every single morning he woke up next to me. I walked out of that lawyer's office in downtown Madrid, the city air feeling colder than ever. But for the first time in nearly a decade, I didn't feel like I was suffocating under the weight of a secret I couldn't name. It's been months since I last spoke to Mateo. I moved into a smaller place, just for me and my son. The mortgage on the big house is someone else's problem now. My son doesn't ask about his father as much anymore. Children have a way of sensing when a shadow has been lifted from their home. I sometimes pass by our old neighborhood, the one near the market where it all started. I don't feel anger anymore, just a profound, quiet pity for the man who thought he could have everything by giving nothing. I am Elena Castillo, and I survived a man of 2 lives. He thought he was clever, saving his mistress as Ricardo and buying tablets for a son I never knew. But the truth is like the Spanish sun. It eventually burns through even the thickest fog. I lost a husband, but I found my dignity. I don't know what the future holds, but I know it won't be built on lies. I am finally standing in the light, and the shadows no longer have power over me. And so another file is sealed in the secrets inbox. A story of a woman who had to dismantle her entire world to find the truth hidden in plain sight. If Elena's journey through the lies of Madrid has resonated with you, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep unboxing these confidential archives. But I leave you with one final question, confidential listeners. If you found a contact in your partner's phone that didn't match the voice on the other end, would you hang up or would you follow the trail to the very end? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Because a secret shared is a burden halved, but a lie discovered is a life reborn. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep your secrets close. Good night.